Happy holidays, everybody. This time of year, parents, and this is nothing new, anyone who celebrates Christmas always seems to have that ace up their sleeve, especially when the kids are acting up. And I remember this when I was young. Parents would shame their kids, and they always had Santa Claus on the back burner, especially the closer Christmas came. You don't want Santa seeing you do this, do you? You don't want to get Santa mad at you, do you? He'll bypass our house. And the younger kids would always fall for it. Until they got older and they realized Santa Claus was made up. I could never seen this working with grown-ass adults, but it does, unfortunately. And I've seen this when I was one of Jehovah's Witnesses, especially when it came to the disfellowship ones. How many times have you heard the elder say to somebody, would Jehovah want you to do this? You wouldn't want Jehovah angry at you, would you? And that would basically shame them into submission. And God knows what these elders were into. Funny thing was, I noticed this. I had gotten a first taste of the disfellowship ones right from the get-go. And it would always be the same. You're out in service or anywhere, and you'd run into the disfellowshipped or disassociated JWs, and they would always look down in shame. You may nod, but you don't say anything, and you keep going. And the unfortunate thing was, they were still playing by watchtower rules. Now, some of them came back. Some of them never came back, but it didn't seem to matter. They were always still playing by the same rules. And I noticed just how arrogant JWs would get. They may nod and smile at them, if give them any attention at all, but as soon as they were gone, they would start immediately putting the bad mouth on them. Not really knowing their situation or what they would disfellowship for, because obviously they don't tell you. But the bad-mouthing continued and continued and continued. I heard this so many times. Now, there was a difference between confident people and arrogant people. See, somebody who's confident in their beliefs does not have to hurl insults. Arrogance hides behind them because they have their own shortcomings that they hide behind. And we've all heard the fat hamster. Insult after insult after insult. And that walrus justifies it. Why? Because he's one of Jehovah's Witnesses. You are not, I am not. So he justifies the insults, which none of us take seriously because looking at him, he's a fat pig. I had gotten a taste of this myself. And it was August the 11th, 2016, when it was actually announced that I was no longer one of Jehovah's Witnesses. Now, I saw the arrogance just prior to this by my Bible instructor, he was just as arrogant as Dara was, who would cause problems with me at my place of employment. And he was an arrogant son of a bitch, right up to the very end. Although he took credit for getting me where I was, when things weren't quite going his way, he was the first one who tried to cut my head off and throw me under the bus. That's fine. Well, I noticed after it was announced that I was disfellowshipped that for a few weeks, I was still following Watchtower rules. Even though I was adamant about leaving under my own terms, I walked away even though I was told I had to go to the Kingdom Hall. No, I don't. I didn't give them any more authority. But I started noticing the few weeks after I was officially disfellowshipped that I actually was. If I saw Jehovah's Witnesses in the grocery store or a street corner, I would say, okay, I'd give them a wide berth, let them pass. And I'm like, wait a minute. This is my town. It's a small town, and we're going to run into each other. So I opted not to. I mean, I was never nearly nasty to them, but I was not going to give up space just so that they could pass. The first few weeks, I would see them. They'd look at me with disgust, turn their heads, almost to say, I'm in the org, I'm in the truth, you're not. And they'd walk away in disgust. Some of them, not all of them. I noticed a big change in recent years. Now it's almost like they look at you and they look down in shame, almost as if to say, you're free and I'm stuck in the org. And then they walk away. It used to be back in the day, for the most part, when somebody left the organization, the information wasn't as available as it is today. It was easy to set Jehovah's Witnesses up to fail if they left because they believed what they were told. It was also easy to shame them into submission. Not so easy today. That arrogant pustool who gave me my Bible study some years back was arrogant from the beginning to end. And I always questioned his confidence. But again, much like Darrow, he would hurl insult. This was including people in the organization, whether you were disfellowshipped. Several months ago, I got to see something that I had waited for years to see. I was at the grocery store just coming out, and I was on my phone answering a text. Well, I looked up, and he was heading into the store. Apparently, he didn't see me until he got right up to me. And the look on his face was the exact same as when we first met. He went pale. His mouth dropped. He looked down, changed his direction to go in, gave me a half-ass wave, and went inside. And that made it all the worth it. I was loving that. I took my town back. I took my authority back. This was a guy who thought he had authority over me, but that was the one person I wanted to run into for years. Now, whether or not I haven't run into too many, but basically the reaction is the same. Not all of them. Some of them, okay, they still play by the rules, but they wave and they keep going. But if I left, if any of Jehovah's Witnesses leave, and they opt not to go back, are you still playing by the rules, or are you taking your authority back? Amber had touched on this, as well as Vicky had touched on this recently, that many of the ex-JWs are somewhat still playing by the rules. No, take your authority back. If you've left, you don't answer to them. This is in your town, in your home. No, just remember one thing. It's on them to shun you. It's not on you because you don't follow their rules anymore. You don't have to shun them. You can walk up and talk to them, say hello. If they feel the need to shun you, then it's on them to walk away. Anyways, guys, that's just something I've been wanting to get out because I have noticed for the most part, Jehovah's Witnesses, I had made mention several last week, that they lack confidence. Many of them hide behind arrogance, and this is why they hurl the insults. This is why guys like the Fat Hamster has to do videos, video after video after video, insulting the same people all the time, because he has no confidence. Of course, look at the guy. Why would he? Anyways, guys, I hope everybody has a happy holiday, and I will be back soon. I probably won't be uploading anything till after the holidays. We're all going to be kind of busy. But I hope everyone has a happy holiday and a good day. I will talk to you soon.